So I've just placed a NVDA call option, um, waiting for price action to come back up to 123 or even as high as 124. As you can see, I use the MACD to enter and the RSI. So the RSI is here at the bottom, and the RSI is kind of, in this midpoint between 55 and 80. And between this point here, it's quite good to enter, and I can see here that it's trying to go up. So if I add volume, I can see that the volume here, there's quite a lot of people trading at the moment. So I'm trying to see if NVIDIA can hold this 50-day moving average and make its way back up to 124 at least. If it breaks below here, if it breaks below the 122, where I'll put an alert, then I know that it's obviously doesn't have enough balls here, to take price action back up to that resistance that I mentioned. And then obviously I'll be out of the trade. But if you look at the MACD here, down here, this MACD, you can see this blue line is about to cross. As soon as that crosses and the RSI down here, this purple line, this RSI goes past, makes its way up to 80. As this RSI moves upwards and the MACD moves upwards, then we know there's enough buyers to take this price action for NVIDIA, hopefully past 123 up to 124, maybe get up to 125. My call option is for the end of this week, so I have until the end of this week for price action to make its move back up. However, the tricky thing about price action is that you need to understand, and by the way, I'm on a 1 minute time frame here, so I can precisely know when to enter and when to exit my position. But as you can see here, it's holding. There you can see it's holding. There's a test of that 50-day moving average, that white line. If it holds this 50-day moving average, then we may carry on up towards the end of the week. So as I say, my call option is held out until the end of the week. However, with call options, there's delta, which is basically delta means that it's time erosion. So as time goes on, your option, the amount of money in your option is eroding over time. So when you're in these types of plays, it's best to, have a longer position, a longer term outlook. So if you hold it, say, for 30 days, normally people hold it for 30 to 40 days out. So it gives time for price action to move and for delta to not kind of interfere and, chip at your money. So literally there's no time decay of your actual funds. It looks as though NVIDIA isn't really playing ball, and it looks as though it's heading back down again. It looks as though there's not enough buyers to hold this up. We'll give it a few more moments to see if there are enough buyers. It's a case of keeping an eye on the RSI at the bottom here. You can see it's still trending downwards. If there is a movement back up, we may, pull out of our call option, because obviously the longer you hold it, it would just decay over time, like I said. Normally a lot of people, as I say, when they play call options, they do give a period of time between 30 to 40 days out, depending on the stock. Obviously NVIDIA and Tesla are quite volatile moving stocks, so you can try to get to your price point and make the gains, and then end your option, your contract option for the calls. It looks as though I may have entered a little bit earlier, thinking that it could stay above this 50-day moving average. Let's have a look. So let me just log back in. So with my NVDA call option here, as you can see, I'm waiting for the call option to reach at least break even if I want to get back out of this. But as you can see, it's struggling. Well, it's not struggling, but it's trying its best. So at the moment, I'm at a loss at 20% loss, almost 20% loss. So, oh, hang on, we're having a turnaround here. It's turning around. Can you see that wick? There is a buyer at 122. Can you see that long wick? There's a buyer at 122 that's holding this price up. So if this price holds up, we can stay in this play. And as I say, we'll try and exit out of this play once it reaches that 123 or 124, depending how high it can go. Yeah, there's a bit of a fight here, isn't there? You can see it's just struggling between the bears and the bulls. It's like a real struggle. They're really fighting out here, aren't they? They're trying to hold that 50-day moving average. So this is the MACD here. We're waiting for the green bars to appear. And the bottom chart is your RSI, your relative strength index. So it gives you, so basically there are 3 dotted lines on the RSI. It looks as though it's going to drop a bit further before it decides. Yeah, they're really fighting over this. See, it may drop as low as here. I'll put another price alert here, 121. Let's see if I add another moving average. If I add a 9-period moving average, that might give us a better indication as to. So if I add this, what are the other colors? Oh, I'll add it in yellow. So if I change this to yellow. So as you can see here, the length is a 9 moving day average. Okay, so you can see the 9 moving day average. A lot of intraday traders will use this 9, 8 or 5 moving day average to better track. So if I move it to the 5, you'll see it basically trends it a lot closer. So as you can see, now that I've put in that yellow line, that's the 5-day moving average. It averages candles over 5 days. And if it trends above that, there's a good bet that by the end of the week, it stays above that and it trends upwards. But it's really struggling along that 5 moving day average as well. There's a real big fight there. But the hope is in that green candle here. This green candle. Can you see this long wick? This is, people call this like a John Wick candle. So basically the candle opened and buyers have just pushed it all the way up to this point, 122, and then the bears are pushing it all the way down. So the bears have managed to push it all the way down to 121.78, and the bulls have pushed it all the way back up, and now the bears are like really taking control now. Okay, so it looks as though it's going to break down this trade isn't really holding up now. It looks as though this trade is pulling back. So it's still, if I use this trend line, I can show you that it's still trending upwards. So there's some people that do trend line, they trade by trend lines. So if I draw this trend line out here, you can see that it has the potential to fall back to this trend line. Can you see there? And then once it pulls back to this trend line, that would be another good position to enter, because you buy low and you sell high. So can you see here, if it pulls back here to 12144, you could enter low here. I've obviously entered here, which is maybe a bit too soon. You could enter on this pullback. So it can pull back to this white trend line let's make this green. So it can pull back to this white trend, this green trend line here, this support line here. So this is a trend line that people like to trade from. So it's obviously hit it once here, twice here, and if it hits it another time, it could bounce. And if it breaks through this trend line, it will head down to this 200-day moving average. So as I say, there's a real fight going on at this level. At this level, 12122. Oh, here we go. The bulls are like taking control right now. You can see there's a real fight going on at this price point. As you can see along here, can you see all these candles as it hits this level? There's a lot of buyers and sellers here that are really, fighting it out for this line. If they can hold this line, if the bulls can hold this line and push the price up, it will go back up. But if they don't, then obviously the next support is this green trend line that, it could hold also. And if not, then you've got the 200-day moving average. And if none of those hold, then obviously it's heading down. The next support would be these yellow bars that I've marked out as support previously. In NVIDIA's previous life, it's obviously had a lot of buyers there pushing price back up. But as I say, there's a real fight along here. You can see there's a real fight for that. Let's move the moving day average to 9 moving day. Let's see, let's give it a little bit more leeway. A lot of people will trade up to 21-day moving average, give themselves more leeway. But with the 9-day moving average, yeah, it's really, really, really trying to stay above that. If we can get above that yellow trend line that I have there for the 9 moving day average, if we can get above there, then it will trend up. But if we stay below it, it's going to hit that green. It's really struggling. It's just a matter of seeing who's going to win out. If I draw another micro trend line from this point, let's see if that holds. And if that doesn't hold, it will drop down to the lower line. Yeah. No. This is why it's very important to wait for these candles to finish. If it's a 1-minute candle, wait for the actual 1-minute candle to finish. Don't just jump in. When you're trading, try to wait for the candle to finish before you understand where is, the actual price action, where's it ended. Because as you can see, there is a clock on this. There's 30 seconds left. So, be patient, wait for the actual candlesticks to complete. You're only waiting 1 minute. That's why a lot of scalpers like to scalp, because they don't have much time. They may scalp first thing in the morning when, you know, volatility in the markets is highest, there's a lot of, you know, energy in the market, and then they'll trade the 1 minute or 15-minute time frame and then make a quick, you know, quick buck or two. Well, they make a lot more on that depending how many contracts they have. Oh, look at this. Oh my gosh, NVIDIA's going for it. Woo, look at that. NVIDIA's like broken free. I think, look, as you can see, I've taken my eye off the MACD. As you can see, can you see there? It's curling up. Can you see? It's curling up. As soon as that blue line passes, as soon as this blue line here passes this orange line, it's going to curl up. But you can already see there are buyers in the market. Can you see already? So you'll have this pattern where these green bars will appear. And can you see down here, the RSI is heading beyond. Look, if I put in a horizontal line for you to see. Oops. So normally it will go past 70. So that's basically what we're looking at here. So the buyers, as you can see, the sellers, I mean, as you can see, really pushed it down. Look, it's a real battle here. This is a real battleground. Can you see this line that I just drew earlier? It's a real battleground here. And if they can really hold this, you know, NVIDIA's got a chance to really break back up again. But we're waiting on this MACD to turn green, this here. We're waiting for this to turn green, waiting for the RSI to go beyond 50, 60, 70. So it's a waiting game right here. It's a real battle taking place. A battle over a few minutes. Oh, here we go. What's happening here? See, this is the thing. If you have all these tools to hand, you don't have to panic when you see, you know, this price action, you know, with the green and red candles, because obviously you've got these, I wouldn't call them indicators, but they are in a way. They're kind of like, they're like marking points for you so that you can detect, you know, what kind of direction are you trying to head in. So your moving day averages, I think, are really good to give you, you know, the strength of the actual price action and the way the stock's looking to go. And obviously trend lines are the easiest way for you to see, well, how many times has it bounced off this line? And is this line holding anymore? Because that's kind of like an indication of like, well, how many buyers are there and how many sellers are there and who will win. But right here, right now, we have a battle going on. And a lot of people would draw a conclusion that this is quite bullish. I mean, NVIDIA is really like pushing upwards. If we draw another trend line, look, you can see it's really like trying its best, isn't it?
kick.